Your hand is already moving. You didn't decide to reach for it, you just watched your fingers do it. The phone is in your palm now, the screen lit, and for a second you forget why. There was no buzz, no ring, no reason. Some quiet part of you simply needed to check, and you obeyed before you even noticed. You do this far more than you think. In line at the store, at a red light, in the middle of a conversation. When researchers actually measured it, people reached for their phones around 85 times a day. And that was twice as often as those same people had guessed. Sometimes you feel it buzz in your pocket and find that it never buzzed at all. You unlock it, you stare, you lock it, you put it away, having checked nothing. And a few minutes later, your hand starts to move again. It would be easy to call this weakness, a bad habit, a failure of willpower, but that is not what's happening in there. You are not broken and you are not weak. You are running very old software on a very new machine. And to understand the reach, you have to go back long before the phone, before the screen, before electricity itself. For almost all of human history, your survival depended on one thing above all others: paying attention. Your ancestors woke inside a world that could feed them or kill them, and it could change by the hour. Where the herd had moved, which berries had ripened, what rustled in the grass, whose mood had quietly turned. A brain that scanned constantly for a threat, for food, for news of the group kept its owner alive. A brain that stopped checking missed the predator or the meal or the shift in who could still be trusted. So you inherited a mind that is never quite still, one that is always asking underneath everything, is there anything new, anything I need to know? For your ancestors, the only way to answer that question was to look up and scan the world. For you, the whole world now fits inside your pocket. But there is a second piece, and this is the one that turns a glance into a compulsion. Think about what all that scanning actually returned. Most times your ancestors looked up, nothing had changed. Same grass, same sky. But every so often and never on schedule, the look paid off. A tree gone heavy with fruit, a hunter returning, a danger caught just early enough to survive. The reward was real, but you could never know which glance would deliver it. That pattern, a reward you cannot predict, is the single most powerful hook a brain can be handed. It is the exact logic of a slot machine. You pull, and maybe nothing. You pull again, and maybe everything. And it turns out an uncertain reward drives your brain harder than a guaranteed one ever could. Now look at your feed. Most of the times you check, there is nothing there, but not always. Sometimes there is a message, a like, a piece of news, a small hit of something that mattered. You can never predict which pull will deliver it, so you keep pulling. The feed did not invent this trap. It simply found the one your ancestors were already built for. And here is the strangest part of all. We like to blame a single chemical for this: dopamine, the so-called pleasure molecule. But that name was always wrong. Dopamine is not the chemistry of pleasure. It is the chemistry of wanting, of anticipation, of the reaching itself. It does not spike when the reward arrives. It spikes in the moment just before, when the reward might be coming. That is why the reach can feel more alive than whatever you actually find at the end of it. Your brain is not chasing the message. It is chasing the maybe. And a screen that can offer a maybe at any second forever is something your ancient wiring was simply never built to put down. So notice what is really happening the next time your hand begins to move. That reach is not a flaw in your character. It is a scanning instinct that kept your family alive for 100,000 years, aimed now at a small pane of glass. The same vigilance that once caught a predator in the grass now catches a glowing notification. The same hunger for news that tracked an entire tribe now refreshes a feed. You are not addicted to a phone. You are running the oldest program you own, and the screen only learned to speak its language. And here is the small, real thing you get back by knowing this. The next time your hand reaches without you, you can notice. You can feel the ancient question underneath it, anything new, anything I need to know, and you can answer it quietly, not right now. Your hand is resting, the screen is dark. Somewhere beneath your attention, the old scanner is still running, still asking, the way it always has. Let it ask. You are the first creature in the whole long line that gets to decide whether to answer.